All right, this is the one question I did think about before coming on.
Welcome to Corran's Questions, where I assemble a panel of experts to answer some of Star Wars CCG's biggest questions. This is a big one. We all want to get better at Star Wars CCG, but we also always have stuff going on. So I asked the experts, what's the most efficient way to get better at Star Wars CCG? This week's panel is Robbie Hendon, Anthony Batmouse Howard, Scott Lingrel, Charlie Arlandson, Bill Tacobill Kafer, and Hayes Hunter.
Watch people play Star Wars. Watch our coverage of top eights. Garrett, Dan, myself, everybody that does commentary. I feel like the commentary for our game has grown tremendously to where the commentators have such a high understanding of what's going on that you're going to get a lot of general knowledge, and there will be times where people will talk about, okay, he played this and we kind of expect something else to happen, or we expect him to have certain cards in his hand based on the way he's playing this game, and you're going to hear us talk about it and mention these things, and we're going to mention the mistakes we see, like if somebody forgot to pull the aim high shield for 20 turns. We're going to bring that up. And so listening to that, watching people play, and participating in that chat, like you can get on there and, hey, why did they deploy Yoda to over here instead of here? Like, ask that question. The commentators are going to see it and we can answer. There's not a lot of people that do just generic coverage, but we do have some people like yourself that will just stream themselves playing games. Watching anybody play games is going to help you learn. You're going to see it, and you can watch things in the background and listen to it, and pause, because some of this is on YouTube, so you can pause and rewind and rewatch it and make sure you got it. But you're going to be seeing, high level players playing things in a more ideal kind of setup that way than you would be at a kitchen table playing by yourself, that you may be playing a card rog, or you may be honed in on one action that nobody else is going to play like. And so I think the best way to do it is to just watch the high level events, watch people play, ask questions while they're playing. I mean, if you're streaming your games, or Garrett's streaming his, or whoever's streaming them, they're going to have people where you can ask questions, and it's like, hey, look, we'll answer it. We'll answer your questions as you have them, and that's going to get you the information, I think, the quickest versus anything else.
Listening to other players talk, it has been good. I think that's the most time efficient way. I see watching videos and things like that, because the best way to get better at Star Wars cards is play more games. In my opinion, if I'm playing one game a week, yeah, I don't really expect that I'm going to get a lot of progress. If I play 100 games a week, um, that's not time efficient, but I see more progress. And for me, losing, so listening to other players talk, and they don't have to be better players. They don't have to be the best player in the world talk. Getting into that mindset of taking information from everywhere around you and really applying that to how you play the game. When you do that, that really warps how you play the game, and you need to play the game how you play the game, not how anyone else plays the game. Because again, we're not exact copy, and our metas are all completely different. But you really want to form your play style, and the best thing I've heard, especially for me playing lately in the last couple of years, is, I finally started playing good cards, but I still play good cards the Batmouse way, my way. So when I got to do things how I wanted to do, using all the best cards available, but doing things my way, that's really like made me better. So listening to how others play the game and then really tweaking that to yourself is probably the most time efficient way.
Time efficient. I would say watch games, honestly, because like you can do other things while you're watching games. You don't have to necessarily be like totally invested in a game. I would say like a month before the Germany Worlds 2017, I threw out my back really bad. Like I couldn't go to work. And I was like stuck at home, and I just watched every single game while I was sitting on the floor in agony. I was like, because I couldn't like lay in certain positions and stuff. Um, and so I just like watched games over and over and over, and I played a lot too. But like, if there was a game up, I would open it. Like some games not really worth watching. Try to watch high level play. Try to watch even maybe they're not the greatest players, but um, a matchup that you want to know how it kind of plays out. I'd watch that. But like because I can, if you have two screens especially or whatever, but you can kind of watch a game. And actually, I would say if you want to take it a step further, watching replays. Like if you can get replays from people, or just like ask people for replays, people that you like watching or think are good, because you can zoom through a replay really fast, so you can like map out what's going on, and that would probably be, I would say, the best, most time efficient way to get better. Yeah.
So I remember a story. I don't remember the context of it, but I remember there was a flight where a gentleman was playing Magic the Gathering on his on the plane, preparing for an event, and he was playing against like the 40th best deck that against, right? He was just kind of going down the row, playing multiple games. And someone asked him, like, what are you doing? He's like, well, a lot of these other people aren't playing, and I'm gonna be better than them because I know what to do in those scenarios. And I have a book about Kobe Bryant that someone gave me years ago, and I remember there was an interview with him where he's like, hey, I'll practice at 4 a.m., I'll practice at 11 a.m., and I'll practice at, let's say 4 p.m. again. And I'm doing that as a kid through college. By the time I get to the NBA, when everyone else is maybe doing 1 or 2 workout sessions or practice sessions a day, I'm going to be so much better than them, they're never going to catch up. So I think we take advantage of the GEMP, where you just play a couple games, right? It's you don't have to go and play 50 games or 100 games, but I think the best way is to pick the deck and have things come up. One of the things that I did not think about is I do not play Throne Room. And in Vegas, I played Throne Room against a deck that uses mobilization points. And I did not pull Don't Do That Again as my first action. Completely forgot. That's one of the benefits of playing the deck. So it comes down to repetition, but finding a deck that you enjoy or that you want to try out, and just play games with it. Even if it's 5 games, even if it's 10 games, whatever, you play some different decks, you're going to get the experience very quickly of just going through the reps.
All right, this is the one question I did think about before coming on here. I didn't try to think about the other ones, but so time efficient way, to me, it's absolutely watching replays on GEMP. I will do it so to play games. The best way to improve is to play more games, but those take an hour, hour and a half sometimes, right? And people don't have that kind of time all the time. So, like I've been pressed for time recently, so I haven't been playing as much as I'd like to. But what I've been doing instead is watching just about every single game that our team puts into our spreadsheet, so that I can still kind of have that work done of this is the game flow and these are the decisions that need to be made, but somebody else is putting in that hour and a half and I'm putting in 15 minutes, right? But I'm still getting a lot of that same benefit where I can see, oh, okay, here's a board state, here's what's in my hand. I can pause the game and be like, okay, I might do this, this, or this. And then I can see what somebody else does as well. So it's almost like a 2-for-1 in that scenario.
Improving at Star Wars CCG is hard because everybody learns differently. Ultimately, getting better at anything, it requires time. So in terms of efficiency, it's how do you learn the most effectively? There's some people who are, kinetic learners. For them, if they don't get to play the games, they're not, you can talk to them forever. They can read term reports and it doesn't stick, right? They need to play it. There's other people that are visual. I'm visual mostly. For me, efficiency. I have kept going on my second monitor a lot of the time. So if it's a slow day at work, and even if it isn't, I can sort of pay attention to what's going on and how people are playing and what card choices are being made. Another strategy that I have shared with people is to have like a Google Doc or something that has like a matchup grid. And what you can do is work collectively to fill in a grid and for how games should go, right? Scripting them basically. And then that's an individual activity, like you typing something into a spreadsheet. But the real learning, I think, occurs when you have discussions about those entries. So doing it on paper, you put it out there, right? You make a claim about how you think a match should go, and then you have a discussion and see if you and your friends agree if that's the line, right? Like an obvious example of this would be Imbat's mains destroys court because blah blah blah. They flood the audience chamber and they get all these blah, 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 blah. But I know for a fact you beat mains players because you have different lines. That's something you'd have to teach me. You'd have to walk me through it and explain it to me. But that type of learning process is something that benefits everybody that's participating in the discussion. So that's how you get better at Star Wars. You talk about it.
A lot of great insights there. I don't usually answer these questions because I don't think of myself as an expert, but for once I feel like I have something to contribute. The quickest way to get better at the game, in my opinion, is to get constant feedback. And the quickest way to get constant feedback is by streaming your games on Twitch. Few enough people stream Star Wars CCG that you'll often get a handful of viewers even if you don't have a following. And those viewers will regularly provide extremely helpful real-time suggestions. If you don't know how to stream or don't want to put yourself out there like that, sending replays to top players can be just as helpful. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. What's your favorite way to get better at the game in a timely fashion? Until next time, good luck, have fun, and no reverts.